At this point, it's not funny anymore. I want Triple H fired before Monday Night Raw. Right now, I want Triple H to be gone right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed this past week's SmackDown, we just had one of the worst reviews in WWE history. Ladies and gentlemen, it turns out the great person that has been calling Randy Orton, right, to tell him to, go back to that 09 version of Randy Orton, the OG version of Randy Orton, was none other. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get to that, I just want you to know that we could have gotten Stephanie McMahon, it would have been okay. Triple H himself, it would have been okay. Chris Jericho, I get he's now in AEW, so whatever. But ladies and gentlemen, the person is Pat McAfee. Nothing against Pat McAfee though. Dude is a great guy. But seriously, what sense does it make for Pat McAfee to be the one calling Randy Orton? This makes absolutely no sense. And ladies and gentlemen, if I'm being serious right now, if you said during WrestleMania 40 that Triple H is going to be better than Vince McMahon, and if you still think so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to just put yourself in the comments. We just have to I want us to have a little conversation. What the hell was that? Ladies and gentlemen, Vince McMahon, don't get me wrong, he also books bad show, but there's no way Vince McMahon would have allowed this to happen. How the hell do you fumble a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton match in this period? The guys have rich history that could have been added to make this storyline the best heading into WrestleMania, but instead Triple H is adding people in this storyline that just doesn't make sense. First of all, we had Matt Cardona on Zack Ryder, we had Jelly Roll, and now we had Pat McAfee. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that Pat McAfee is going to be, is going to be very much involved in this storyline, not just a one night show like Jelly Roll and stuff. He's going to be a focal point in this storyline. And seriously, what sense does it make? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join me in this campaign. We have to get Triple H fired immediately. As always, it's your man Fred. Subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.